When you're scrolling through pool gear, the pictures look slick, the promises sound effortless, and then you end up with a chlorinator that either fizzles out on a hot summer day or turns your backyard into a maintenance nightmare. I've been there spending an afternoon wrestling with a bulky unit that required a whole plumbing overhaul, only to discover the chlorine levels were all over the place. That's why I'm doing a deep dive on the CircuPool CORE35 salt chlorinator, so you can avoid that kind of disappointment before you spend a paycheck. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest question most pool owners ask is, can I install this myself, or am I calling a plumber and adding $500 to the bill? The CORE35 is marketed as a revolutionary compact design that fits into a standard 2-inch PVC conduit, and from the unpacking videos and the included manual, it really does look like a piece you could slide into place without tearing your patio apart. The cell itself is about the size of a small coffee mug, and the wiring harness is color-coded, which cuts down on guesswork. For a DIY-oriented homeowner who already knows the basics of pool circulation, the installation can be wrapped up in a Saturday afternoon. You'll still need a basic understanding of where the flow meter is and how to secure the cell housing, but there's no need for a professional electrician or a trip to the hardware store for special brackets. Now, let's talk about what happens after you've got it mounted. The CORE35 is a 4th-generation system, meaning CircuPool has refined the control board and the salt-to-chlorine conversion algorithm over several product cycles. In real-world use, that translates to a steadier chlorine output, especially during temperature swings. I've seen owners with pools in the 30-40F range worry that salt systems become sluggish. The CORE35's titanium cell, manufactured in the USA, holds up better than the typical stainless steel options you find on lower-priced units. The titanium coating resists the scaling that normally forces people to clean or replace cells every few years. Coupled with an 8-year limited warranty, that durability is a real cost saver if you plan to keep the pool for the long haul. But durability doesn't automatically mean you'll love the day-to-day experience. One practical strength of the CORE35 is its weatherproof housing, rated IP66. In my own backyard, the unit sits under a pergola where it still gets splashed by rain and exposed to direct sun for hours. The housing stayed dry on the inside, and the electronics didn't overheat, even when the pool heater was pushing the water up to 90°F. For folks in humid climates or those who store their chlorinator outdoors, that level of protection removes a common point of failure that can turn a simple chlorine generator into a costly repair ticket. On the flip side, the compact size also imposes a ceiling on chlorine output. The 1.4 pound CL per day rating is fine for pools up to about 35,000 gallons, but if you have a large in-ground pool with heavy usage, think weekend parties, kids, and a lot of sunscreen, the system can struggle to keep the free chlorine level in the ideal 2-4 ppm range without you manually bumping the output setting. In practice, you'll find yourself tweaking the salt level dial more often than you would with a larger commercial-grade unit. That's not a deal-breaker, but it's a hidden trade-off. You get a sleek, easy-install package at the expense of having to keep an eye on the controller during peak use periods. Who should actually buy the CORE35? If you're a homeowner with a medium-sized pool, 15,000 to 30,000 gallons, you already know how to read a flow meter, and you prefer a low-maintenance chemical system that doesn't require you to juggle chlorine tablets, this is a solid match. The 8-year warranty also makes sense for anyone who wants peace of mind without the anxiety of, when will the cell die? The system's compact footprint is perfect for pools where space for equipment is at a premium. Think tight pump rooms or retrofit scenarios where you can't add a bulky cabinet. Who might want to skip it? If you have a pool larger than 35,000 gallons, or you run a high-traffic facility like a community center or a rental property, you'll likely need a higher output chlorinator that can stay ahead of demand without constant adjustments. Similarly, if you're uncomfortable with any DIY plumbing work, even something as simple as cutting a PVC pipe, you might be better off paying a professional to install a larger, more robust system that comes pre-wired. Lastly, if you're on a very tight budget, there are cheaper salt cells on the market. They won't have the titanium cell or the 8-year warranty, but they also won't carry the same long-term reliability, which is exactly what the CORE35 is trying to sell. A practical tip that's not always highlighted in the spec sheet: the controller's LCD screen displays real-time salt concentration, chlorine output, and even a cell health indicator. In my testing, that indicator gave an early warning when